Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books here in the live studios at Radha Lane, Houston, Texas, 77018. Right down the path from Sri Sri Radha Nilamadhava's beautiful temple. All right, we're going to read one of the most interesting chapters in the whole book today. This is Yamaraja's instructions to his servants, the Yamadutas. But before we do, we're going to hear Srila Sanatana Goswami's prayer, glorifying the Srimad-Bhagavatam. It goes like this. Sarva Shashabdipi Yusha Sarva Vedayika Satpala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnaja Sarva Lokaika Drikprada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad-Bhagavata Prabho Kalidwandoditaditya Shri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master, Srimad-Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varshakshadayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madeka Bando Matsangin Madguru Man Mahadana Mandistadaga Madbhagya Mad Ananda Namostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Sadhu sadhu tadayin atini chochatakara anamuncha gadachin mam premna rit kanta yoskoda. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So, the Yamadutas failed to take Ajamil's soul to Yamaraj. In the process, they were forced to explain religious principles to the Vishnudutas, and of course they left out the ultimate religious principle of chanting the holy names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, the Yamadutas have come back to Yamaraj, and they're going to inquire from him what just happened. Canto 6, Chapter 3, Text 4. The Yamadutas said, Our dear Lord, how many controllers or rulers are there in this material world? How many causes are responsible for manifesting the various results of activities performed under the three modes of material nature, Sattva-gun, Rajagun, and Tamagun? Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the Yamadutas, the order carriers of Yamaraj, were so disappointed that they asked their master, almost in great anger, whether there were many masters other than him. Furthermore, because the Yamadutas had been defeated and their master could not protect them, they were inclined to say that there was no need to serve such a master. If a servant cannot carry out the orders of his master without being defeated, what is the use of serving such a powerless master? Text 5. If in this universe there are many rulers and justices who disagree about punishment and reward, their contradictory actions will neutralize each other, and no one will be punished or rewarded. Otherwise, if their contradictory acts fail to neutralize each other, everyone will have to be both punished and rewarded. Purport. Because the Yamadutas had been successful in carrying out the order of Yamaraj, they doubted whether Yamaraj actually had the power to punish the sinful. Although they had gone to arrest Ajamil, following Yamaraj's order, they found themselves unsuccessful because of the order of some higher authority. Therefore, they were unsure of whether there were many authorities or only one. If there were many authorities who gave different judgments, which could be contradictory, a person might be wrongly punished or wrongly rewarded, or he might be neither punished nor rewarded. According to our experience in the material world, a person punished in one court may appeal to another. Thus, the same man may be either punished or rewarded according to different judgments. However, in the law of nature, or the court of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there cannot be such contradictory judgments. The judges and their judgments must be perfect and free from contradictions. Actually, the position of Yamaraj was very awkward in the case of Ajamil, because the Yamadutas were right in attempting to arrest Ajamil, but the Vishnudutas had baffled them. Although Yamaraj, under these circumstances, was accused by both the Vishnudutas and the Yamadutas, he is perfect in administering justice because he is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he will explain what his real position is and how everyone is controlled by the Supreme Controller, the Personality of Godhead. Text 6. The Yamadutas continued, since there are many different karmis or workers, there may be different judges or rulers to give them justice. But just as one central emperor controls different departmental rulers, there must be one supreme controller to guide all judges. Purport. In governmental management, there may be departmental officials to give justice to different persons, but the law must be one, and that central law must control everyone. The Yamadutas could not imagine that two judges would give two different verdicts in the same case, and therefore they wanted to know who the central judge is. The Yamadutas were certain that Ajamil was a most sinful man, but although Yamaraj wanted to punish him, the Vishnudutas excused him. This was a puzzling situation that the Yamadutas wanted Yamaraj to clarify. Text 7. The Supreme Judge must be one, not many. It was our understanding that you are that Supreme Judge, and that you have jurisdiction even over the demigods. Our impression was that you are the master of all living entities, the supreme authority, who discriminates between the pious and impious activities of all human beings. Text 8. But now we see that the punishment ordained under your authority is no longer effective, since your order has been transgressed by 4 wonderful and perfect persons. Purport. The Yamadutas had been under the impression that Yamaraj was the only person in charge of administering justice. They were fully confident that no one could counteract his judgments. But now, to their surprise, his order had been violated by the 4 wonderful persons from Siddhaloka. Text 9. We were bringing the most sinful Ajamil toward the hellish planets, following your order, when those beautiful persons from Siddhaloka forcefully cut the knots of the ropes with which we were arresting him. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks that the Yamadutas wanted to bring the Vishnudutas before Yamaraj. If Yamaraj could then have punished the Vishnudutas, the Yamadutas would have been satisfied. Text 10. As soon as the sinful Ajamil uttered the name Narayana, these four beautiful men immediately arrived and reassured him, saying, "Do not fear, do not fear. We wish to know about them from your lordship. If you think we are able to understand them, kindly describe who they are." Purport. The order carriers of Yamaraj, being very much aggrieved because of their defeat by the four Vishnudutas, wanted to bring them before Yamaraj, and if possible, punish them. Otherwise, they desired to commit suicide. Before pursuing either course, however, they wanted to know about the Vishnudutas from Yamaraj, who is also omniscient. Text 11. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, "Thus having been questioned, Lord Yamaraj, the supreme controller of the living entities, was very pleased with his order carriers because of hearing from them the holy name of Narayana. He remembered the lotus feet of the Lord and began to reply." Purport. Srila Yamaraj, the supreme controller of the living entities in terms of their pious and impious activities, was very pleased with his servants because they had chanted the holy name of Narayana in his dominion. Yamaraj has to deal with men who are sinful and who can hardly understand Narayana. Consequently, when his order carriers uttered the name of Narayana, he was extremely pleased, for he is also a Vaishnava. Text 12. Yamaraj said, "My dear servants, you have accepted me as the supreme, but factually I am not. Above me and above all other demigods, including Indra and Chandra, is the one supreme master and controller. The partial manifestations of his personality are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who are in charge of the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this universe. He is like the two threads that form the length and breadth of a woven cloth. The entire world is controlled by him, just as a bull is controlled by a rope in its nose." Purport. The order carriers of Yamaraj suspected that there was a ruler even above Yamaraj. To eradicate their doubts, Yamaraj immediately replied, "Yes, there is one supreme controller above everything. Yamaraj is in charge of some of the moving living entities, namely the human beings, but the animals who also move are not under his control. Only human beings have consciousness of right and wrong, and among them only those who perform sinful activities come under the control of Yamaraj. Therefore, although Yamaraj is a controller, he is only a departmental controller of a few living entities. There are other demigods who control many other departments, but above them all is one supreme controller, Krishna, Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, Sachidananda, Vigraha. The supreme controller is Krishna. Others who control their own departments in the affairs of the universe are insignificant in comparison to Krishna, the supreme controller. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7:7, "Matak parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya." My dear Dhananjaya, Arjuna, no one is superior to me. Therefore, Yamaraj immediately cleared away the doubts of his assistants, the Yamadutas, by confirming that there is a supreme controller above all others. Srila Madhvacharya explains that the words Otam Protam refer to the cause of all causes, The Supreme Lord is both vertical and horizontal to the cosmic manifestation. This is confirmed in the following verse from the Skanda Purana. Yata Kanta Patak Sutra Otak Protas Chasastitaha Evam Vishnavidam Vishwam Otam Protam Chasangstitam. Like the two threads, horizontal and vertical, of which a quilt is manufactured, Lord Vishnu is situated as the vertical and horizontal cause of the cosmic manifestation. Text 13. Just as the driver of a bullock cart ties ropes through the nostrils of his bulls to control them, the Supreme Personality of Godhead binds all men through the ropes of his words in the Vedas, which set forth the names and activities of the distinct orders of human society, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. In fear, the members of these orders all worship the Supreme Lord by offering him presentations according to their respective activities. Purport. In this material world, everyone is conditioned, regardless of who he is. One may be a human being, a demigod, or an animal, tree, or plant, but everything is controlled by the laws of nature, and behind this natural control is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed by Bhagavad Gita 9.10, wherein Krishna says, Maya yakshena prakriti suyate sachadachadam. The material nature is working under my direction and producing all moving and non-moving beings. Thus Krishna is behind the natural machine which works under his control. Apart from other living entities, the living being in the human form of body is systematically controlled by Vedic injunctions in terms of the divisions of Varna and Ashrama. A human being is expected to follow the rules and regulations of Varna and Ashrama, otherwise he cannot escape punishment by Yamaraja. The point is that every human being is expected to elevate himself to the position of a Brahmana, the most intelligent man, and then one must transcend that position to become a Vaishnava. This is the perfection of life. The Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra can elevate themselves by worshipping the Lord according to their activities, sway, karmanya bidatak, samsiddhim labhate naraha. The divisions of Varna and Ashram are necessary to ensure the proper execution of duties and peaceful existence for everyone. But everyone is directed to worship the Supreme Lord, who is all-pervading, yena sarvam idang tatam. The Supreme Lord exists vertically and horizontally, otam, protam. And therefore, if one follows the Vedic injunctions by worshipping the Supreme Lord according to one's ability, his life will be perfect. As stated in Srimad-Bhagavatam 1.2.13, Atak pumbir dvija shreshta varnashrama vibhagashaha swanustitasya dharmasya sangsitir haritoshanam. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging his prescribed duties, dharma, according to caste divisions and orders of life, is to please the Lord, Hari. The Varnashram institution offers the perfect process for making one eligible to return home, back to Godhead, because the aim of every Varna and Ashrama is to please the Supreme Lord. One can please the Lord under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master, and if one does so, his life is perfect. The Supreme Lord is worshipable, and everyone worships him directly or indirectly. Those who worship him directly get the results of liberation quickly, whereas the liberation of those who serve him indirectly is delayed. The words namabir vachi are very important. In the Varnashram institution, there are different names: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi. The Vak, or Vedic injunctions, give directions for all these divisions. Everyone is expected to offer obeisances to the Supreme Lord and perform duties as indicated in the Vedas. Text 14 and 15. I, Yamaraj, have we got two eyes in the book? Who's got the book? I've got I, two eyes right next together. What?
I have one eye.
One eye. Good for us. I got two eyes.
Lucky you.
I, Yamaraj, Indra, the king of heaven, Niriti, Varuna, Chandra, the moon god, Agni, Lord Shiva, Pavana, Lord Brahma, Surya, the sun god, Vishwasu, the 8 Vasus, the Sadyas, the Maruts, the Rudras, the Siddhas, Marichi, and the other great rishis engaged in maintaining the departmental affairs of the universe, the best of the demigods, headed by Brihaspati, and the great sages, headed by Bhrigu, are all certainly freed from the influence of the two base material modes of nature, namely passion and ignorance. Nevertheless, although we are in the mode of goodness, we cannot understand the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What then is to be said of others, who under illusion merely speculate to know God? Purport. The men and other living entities within this cosmic manifestation are controlled by the three modes of nature. For the living entities controlled by the base qualities of nature, passion and ignorance, there is no possibility of understanding God. Even those in the mode of goodness, like the many demigods and great rishis described in these verses, cannot understand the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, one who is situated in the devotional service of a Lord is transcendental to all material qualities. Therefore the Lord personally says that no one can understand him but the bhaktas, who are transcendental to all material qualities. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. As stated by Bhishmadev to Maharaj Yudhishthira in Srimad-Bhagavatam 1.9.16, Na yasya karichit rajan puman veda viditsitam yad vijigyasya yukta muyanti kavayo pihi. O King, no one can know the plan of the Lord, Sri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. No one, therefore, can understand God by speculative knowledge. Indeed, by speculation, one will be bewildered. Muyanti. This is also confirmed by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 7.3. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam apisiddhanam kaschin mam veditatpataha. Among many thousands of men, one may endeavor for perfection, and even among the siddhas, those who have already become perfect, only one who adopts the process of bhakti, devotional service, can understand Krishna. Text 16. As the different limbs of the body cannot see the eyes, the living entities cannot see the Supreme Lord, who is situated as the Supersoul in everyone's heart. Not by the senses, by the mind, by the life air, by thoughts within the heart, or by the vibration of words can the living entities ascertain the real situation of the Supreme Lord. Purport. Although the different parts of the body do not have the power to see the eyes direct the movements of the body's different parts. The legs move forward because the eyes see what is in front of them, and the hand touches because the eyes see touchable entities. Similarly, Every living being acts according to the direction of the Supersoul, who is situated within the heart. As the Lord Himself confirms in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Sarvasya chaham hridi sanavishto matak smritir jnanam apohanam cha. I am sitting in everyone's heart and giving directions for remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita it is stated, Ishwarak sarvabhutanam riddhisharjunatishtati. The Supreme Lord, as the Supersoul, is situated within the heart. The living entity cannot do anything without the sanction of the Supersoul. The Supersoul is acting at every moment, but the living entity cannot understand the form and activities of the Supersoul by manipulating the senses. The example of the eyes and the bodily limbs is very appropriate. If the limbs could see, they could walk forward without the help of the eyes. But that is impossible. Although one cannot see the Supersoul in one's heart through sensual activities, his direction is necessary. Text 17. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-sufficient and fully independent. He is the master of everyone and everything, including the illusory energy. He has His form, qualities, and features, and similarly, His order carriers, the Vaishnavas, who are very beautiful, possess bodily features, transcendental qualities, and a transcendental nature almost like His. They always wander within this world with full independence. Purport. Yamaraja was describing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller, but the order carriers of Yamaraja were very eager to know about the Vishnu Dutas, who had defeated them in their encounter with Ajamil. Yamaraja therefore stated that the Vishnu Dutas resemble the Supreme Personality of Godhead in their bodily features, transcendental qualities, and nature. In other words, the Vishnu Dutas, or Vaishnavas, are almost as qualified as the Supreme Lord. Yamaraja informed the Yamadutas that the Vishnu Dutas are no less powerful than Lord Vishnu. Since Vishnu is above Yamaraja, the Vishnu Dutas are above the Yamadutas. Persons protected by the Vishnu Dutas, therefore, cannot be touched by the Yamadutas. Text 18. The order carriers of Lord Vishnu, who were worshipped even by the demigods, possess wonderful bodily features, exactly like those of Vishnu, and are very rarely seen. The Vishnu Dutas protect the devotees of the Lord from the hands of enemies, from envious persons, and even from my jurisdiction, as well as from natural disturbances. Purport. Yamaraj has specifically described the qualities of the Vishnu Dutas to convince his own servants not to be envious of them. Yamaraj warned the Yamadutas that the Vishnu Dutas are worshipped with respectful obeisances by the demigods and are always very alert to protect the devotees of the Lord from the hands of enemies, from natural disturbances, and from all dangerous conditions in this material world. Sometimes the members of the Krishna Consciousness Society are afraid of the impending danger of world war and ask what would happen to them if a war should occur. In all kinds of danger, they should be confident of their protection by the Vishnu Dutas, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Kontiya Parijanihi Nami Bhakta Pranashtati. Material danger is not meant for devotees. This is also confirmed in Srimad-Bhagavatam. Padam padam yad vipadam natesham. In this material world, there are dangers at every step, but they are not meant for devotees who have fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord. The pure devotees of Lord Vishnu may rest assured of the Lord's protection, and as long as they are in this material world, they should fully engage in devotional service by preaching the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna, namely the Hare Krishna movement of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada. The Hare Krishna movement of Krishna consciousness. Text 19. Real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles, nor can the demigods or the leaders of Siddhaloka, to say nothing of the asuras, ordinary human beings, vidyadharas, and charanas. Purport. When challenged by the Vishnudutas to describe the principles of religion, the Yamadutas said, Veda pranihito dharma. The religious principles are the principles enacted in Vedic literature. They did not know, however, that the Vedic literature contains ritualistic ceremonies that are not transcendental, but are meant to keep peace and order among materialistic persons in the material world. Real religious principles are nishtraigunya, above the three modes of material nature. Real religious principles are nishtraigunya, above the three modes of material nature, or transcendental. The Yamadutas did not know these transcendental religious principles, and therefore, when prevented from arresting Ajamil, they were surprised. Materialistic persons who attach all their faith to the Vedic rituals as described in Bhagavad Gita 242, wherein Krishna says, Vedavada Ritak Partha Nanyat Astiti Vadinaha. The supposed followers of the Vedas say that there is nothing beyond the Vedic ceremonies. Indeed, there is a group of men in India who are very fond of the Vedic rituals, not understanding the meaning of these rituals, which are intended to elevate one gradually to the transcendental platform of knowing Krishna, Vidaish, Jasarvar, Aham, Eva Vedyaha. Those who do not know this principle, but who simply attach their faith to the Vedic rituals, are called Veda Vada Rata. Herein it is stated that the real religious principle is that which is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That principle is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Charanam Vraja. One should give up all other duties and surrender unto the lotus feet of Krishna. That is the real religious principle everyone should follow. Even though one follows Vedic scriptures, one may not know this transcendental principle, for it is not known to everyone. To say nothing of human beings, even the demigods in the upper planetary systems are unaware of it. This transcendental religious principle must be understood from the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly, or from his special representative, as stated in the next verses. Texts 20 and 21. Lord Brahma, Bhagavan Narada, Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras, Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti, Swayambhuva Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janaka Maharaj, Grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaj, Shukadev Goswami, and I myself know the real religious principle. This is a very important verse. Swayambhur Naradak Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manu Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Balir Bayasakir Bayam. These are the Mahajans, the 12 Mahajans, the knower of religious principles. Lord Brahma, Bhagavan Narada, Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras, Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti, Swayambhuva Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janaka Maharaj, Grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaj, Shukadev Goswami, and I myself know the real religious principle. My dear servants, this transcendental religious principle, which is known as Bhagavat Dharma, or surrender unto the Supreme Lord and love for Him, is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. It is very confidential and difficult for ordinary human beings to understand. But if by chance one fortunately understands it, he is immediately liberated, and thus he returns home, back to Godhead. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna refers to Bhagavat Dharma as the most confidential religious principle. Sarva Guyatamam Guyad Guyataram. Krishna says to Arjuna, because you are my very dear friend, I am explaining to you the most confidential religion. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Give up all other duties and surrender unto me. One may ask, if this principle is very rarely understood, what is the use of it? In answer, Yamaraj states herein that this religious principle is understandable if one follows the parampara system of Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras, and the other standard authorities. There are 4 lines of disciplic succession, one from Lord Brahma, one from Lord Shiva, one from Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, and one from the Kumaras. The disciplic succession from Lord Brahma is called the Brahma Sampradaya. The succession from Lord Shiva, Shambhu, is called the Rudra Sampradaya. The one from the goddess of fortune, Lakshmiji, is called the Shri Sampradaya. And the one from the Kumaras is called the Kumara Sampradaya. One must take shelter of one of these 4 Sampradayas in order to understand the most confidential religious system. In the Padma Purana, it is said, Sampradaya vinihaye mantras te nishpala mataha. If one does not follow the 4 recognized disciplic successions, his mantra or initiation is useless. In the present day, there are many apasampradayas, or sampradayas which are not bona fide, which have no link to authorities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, the Kumaras, or Lakshmi. People are misguided by such sampradayas. The Shastras say that being initiated in such a sampradaya is a useless waste of time, for it will never enable one to understand the real religious principles. Text 22. Devotional service, beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, is the ultimate religious principle for the living entity in human society. Purport. As stated in the previous verse, Dharmam Bhagavatam. Real religious principles are Bhagavata Dharma, the principles described in Srimad-Bhagavatam itself, or in the Bhagavad Gita, the preliminary study of the Bhagavatam. What are these principles? The Bhagavatam says, Dharma, Projito, Projita, Kaitavo, Tra. In Srimad-Bhagavatam, there are no cheating religious systems. Everything in the Bhagavatam is directly connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Bhagavatam further says, Savai Pungsang Padodharmo, Yato Bhaktir Adhoksaje. The Supreme Religion is that which teaches its followers how to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond the reach of experimental knowledge. Such a religious system begins with Tannama Grahana, chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, After chanting the holy name of the Lord and dancing in ecstasy, one gradually sees the form of the Lord, the pastimes of the Lord, and the transcendental qualities of the Lord. This way, one fully understands the situation of the personality of Godhead. One can come to this understanding of the Lord, how he descends into the material world, how he takes his births, and what activities he performs. But one can know this only by executing devotional service. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Simply by devotional service can one understand everything about the Supreme Lord. If one fortunately understands the Supreme Lord in this way, the result is Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma 90. After giving up his material body, he no longer has to take birth in this material world. Instead, he returns home, back to Godhead. That is the ultimate perfection. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mamupetya punarjanma dukalayam ashaswatam napnuvanti mahatmana sangsiddhim paramam gataha. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Text Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Text 23. My dear servants, who are as good as my sons, just see how glorious is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. The greatly sinful Ajamil chanted only to call his son, not knowing that he was chanting the Lord's holy name. Nevertheless, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, he remembered Narayana, and thus he was immediately saved from the ropes of death. Purport. There is no need to conduct research into the significance of the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. The history of Ajamil is sufficient proof of the power of the Lord's holy name and the exalted position of a person who chants the holy name incessantly. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, 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 Gatyaranyata. In this age of Kali, no one can perform all the ritualistic ceremonies for becoming liberated. That is extremely difficult. Therefore, all the Shastras and all the Acharyas have recommended that in this age one chant the holy name. Text 24. Therefore it should be understood that one is easily relieved from all sinful reactions by chanting the holy name of the Lord and chanting of his qualities and activities. This is the only process recommended for relief from sinful reactions. Even if one chants the holy name of the Lord with improper pronunciation, he will achieve relief from material bondage if he chants without offenses. Ajamil, for example, was extremely sinful, but while dying, he merely chanted the holy name. And although calling his son, he achieved complete liberation because he remembered the name of Narayana. Purport. In the assembly of Raghunath Das Goswami's father, Haridas Thakur, confirmed that simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is liberated, even if he does not chant completely inoffensively. Smarta Brahmanas and Mayavadis do not believe that one can achieve liberation in this way, but the truth of Haridas Thakur's statement is supported by many quotations from Srimad-Bhagavatam. In his commentary on this verse, for example, Sridhar Swami gives the following quotation: Satyam pratar grinan bhaktya dukkha gramad vimuchyate. If one always chants the holy name of the Lord with great devotion in the evening and in the morning, one can become free from all material miseries. Another quotation confirms that one can achieve liberation if one hears the holy name of the Lord constantly, every day, with great respect. Anuninam idam adarena shrinvan. Another quotation says, Shavanam kirtanam dhyanam harir adbhuta karmanaha janma karma gunanam cha tad arte kila cheshtitam. One should always chant and hear about the extraordinarily wonderful activities of the Lord. One should meditate upon these activities, and one should endeavor to please the Lord. That's Bhagavatam 11.3.27. Sridhar Swami also quotes from the Puranas, Papa chayas chabhavati smaratam tam arhanisham. One can become free from all sinful reactions simply by remembering the lotus feet of the Lord day and night. Ahar nisham. Furthermore, he quotes from the Bhagavatam 6.3.31. Tasmat sankirtanam vishnor jagan mangalamang hasam mahatam apikoravyam vidyaikantikanishkritam. All these quotations prove that one who constantly engages in chanting and hearing of the holy activities, name, fame, and form of the Lord is liberated. As stated wonderfully in this verse, etavatalam aganir hanarayana pumsam. Simply by uttering the name of the Lord, one is freed from all sinful reactions. The word alam, which is used in this verse, indicates that simply uttering the holy name of the Lord is sufficient. This word is used with different imports, as stated in the Yamaraja, the most authorized dictionary in the Sanskrit language. Alam bhushana paryapti shakti varana vachakam. The word alam is used to mean ornament, sufficiency, power, and restraint. Here the word alam is used to indicate that there is no need of any other process. For the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is sufficient. Even if one chants imperfectly, one becomes free from all sinful reactions by chanting. This power of chanting the holy name was proved by the liberation of Ajamil. When Ajamil chanted the holy name of Narayana, he did not precisely remember the Supreme Lord. Instead, he remembered his own son. At the time of death, Ajamil was certainly not very clean. Indeed, he was famous as a great sinner. Furthermore, one's physiological condition is completely disturbed at the time of death. In such an awkward condition, it would certainly have been very difficult for Ajamil to have chanted clearly. Nevertheless, Ajamil achieved liberation simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Therefore, what is to be said of those who are not sinful like Ajamil? It is to be concluded that with a strong vow, one should chant the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. For thus one will certainly be delivered from the clutches of Maya by the grace of Krishna. The chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is recommended even for persons who commit offenses, because if they continue chanting, they will gradually chant offenselessly. By chanting the Hare Krishna mantra without offenses, one increases his love for Krishna. As stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prema Pumarto Mahan. One's main concern should be to increase one's attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to increase one's love for Him. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes the following verse from Srimad-Bhagavatam 11:19-24. Evam dharmaya manushanam udavat manivedinam mai sanjayate bhakti konyoto svaivashishyate. My dear Uddhava, the supreme religious system for human society is that by which one can awaken his dormant love for me. Commenting on this verse, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes the word bhakti by saying, Premai Vokta, Ka Ajna Artha Asya. In the presence of bhakti, what is the necessity of liberation? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also quotes this verse from the Padma Purana. Do you have it in that Sanskrit? Is there a period after Premai Vokta and then capital K-A-H?
Yes, Lord.
Huh?
Yes.
In the book also? Oh, sure. No, it's right. It's okay. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes the word bhakti by saying, Premai Vokta, Kak Anya Artha Asya. In the presence of bhakti, what is the necessity of liberation? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also quotes this verse from the Padma Purana. Nama parada yuktanam namanyeva harantyagam avishanti paryuktani tanyevarta karanicha. Even if in the beginning one chants the Hare Krishna mantra with offenses, one will become free from such offenses by chanting again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Papa chayas cha bhavati smaratam tam ahar nisham. One becomes free from all sinful reactions if one chants day and night. Following the recommendation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who quoted the following verse: Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyata. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. If the members of the Krishna consciousness movement strictly follow this recommendation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their position will always be secure. What a purport. Last 2-3 purports. Wow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Holy name of the Lord ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. So can I say for reflection? Can I start it off? Yes, I thought that the thing that touched me the most about this whole reading was towards the end where Prabhupada said very clearly that the goal is to develop affection for Krishna, to develop attachment for Krishna. What does attachment mean? It means feeling of affection. When you see the deity, when you hear the name, when you hear these pastimes, when you hear these instructions, which are so clear, and all of a sudden, bing, light goes off. Bing, oh yeah. It's meant to bring out, our affection for Krishna, and for Krishna's devotees, and for devotional service, and anything in connection with Krishna, which ultimately means everything, and the ultimate issue. Anyway, that's my reflection. I'll shut up now. Hogging the show over here. Oh, all right. Speaking of hogging the show.
You know it.
Hmm?
I said, you know it.
You earn it.
I have a a question about the Yamadutas. They were getting answers about there being another controller. I'm just wondering about the rest of the Yamadutas. I know these two were being instructed, but what about all the rest?
Well, it's like everyone else. Just like when you're born in a certain family, in a certain place, say you were born in a little tiny village somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and that's your whole world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and your parents, they're like God. Whatever they say goes. And if you don't go out of that place, and if you don't travel around and see the world and see what's going on and, you know, get educated, then your tendency to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I mean, I don't know exactly, but you know, any of the I don't know if other Yamadutas haven't had that experience. Maybe they have, but this is the one that's in the Bhagavatam, so we take that as the supreme principle.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, maybe the Yamadutas were getting around, they didn't come in contact yet, or the ones that haven't come in contact with that situation, that very rare situation, where somebody chants the name of Krishna at the end, even though they're sinful their whole life. That's very rare. It's very rare.
Just as we were reading, I was realizing that these Yamadutas are also, you know, living entities. So I was just wondering if like, word would get around so that others would know, even though they're Yamadutas.
Well, maybe. I mean, we have big authorities in the world that we run into, and that doesn't mean that everybody knows everything, or everything knows everything about them.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be some special characteristic. I mean, if you want to get invited to, of course, nowadays, even if you do something special and get an invitation to the White House, you may not want to go. Excuse me. I'm trying to control myself here. But it's like that.
I have another question.
Does anybody else have a question? I mean, if she can go on all day. I mean, okay, you win. Go ahead.
Okay, well, we also read that Jamil was famous as a sinner. So I'm just wondering, famous to like earthlings, or did demigods also know that he was like kind of
Famous
a rascal?
because he's in the Bhagavatam.
Oh.
Famous because he's in the Bhagavatam. Lots of people read the Bhagavatam and they know about him.
Mm.
You get into the Bhagavatam, you get to be famous automatically. Did I answer the questions?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Bhakti Doug.
Hare Krishna,
Open
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
So it says, it said in the reading tonight and previous nights that when one just chants one time the Maha Mantra, names of God, then he's completely freed from all sinful reactions. Yet it seems like we still experience things that are reactions even after chanting.
Well, that depends on you, doesn't it?
Okay.
I mean, if you're freed from reactions, and then if you keep yourself clean, keep your nose clean, from then on, and don't do anything bad after that, then yeah, you're liberated.
Okay.
But it doesn't say when. There's no place it says, you know, it can say quickly or immediately or whatever. But then the longer you stay in the material world, there's more opportunities for you to make mistakes, and then it takes longer. You know, you kind of extend the contract, your material contract.
Okay. So would it be like an example of like Marcus saying the other night when he's washing the dishes and there's little ants or things on there and he's accidentally drowning them in the process?
If you're doing something consciously in devotional service of the Lord, then the ants will take benefit.
Okay.
If they leave them, like if you're going on a preaching mission in the car, and some insects come and die like against the windshield, they'll get benefit.
Okay.
That's why we should keep ourselves engaged, and that's why it's said in the text itself and in the purports that the supreme religious principle is to stay engaged in devotional service all the time. It's all auspicious. Because whatever happens to you during that time, when you're actually doing devotional service, not just the mechanics of it, but if you're actually doing devotional service, and even if you're doing the mechanics, it's all auspicious. But to get that level of auspiciousness, then you should be doing devotional service consciously. And to the degree that you have affection for Krishna, to the degree that you have affection for the holy name, to the degree that you have affection for those you're doing devotional service with, and all of the other things that come on with devotional service, the deities and the paraphernalia that you have that you use to do devotional service, what to speak of Krishna Prasada. So it's not like black and white. It's not a mechanical, it's not like a mechanical formula, A plus B equals D, and it's dynamic, it's spiritual, it's infinite dimensional. And there's a spectrum. And the more you keep yourself engaged, the more you keep yourself in the fire of devotional service. That one verse I thought was really an interesting verse and very timely. The verse was Namaparada Yuktanam. Yeah. Namanyeva Harantyagam Avishanti Prayuktani Tanyevarta Karanicha. Even if in the beginning one chants the Hare Krishna mantra with offenses, one will become free from such offenses by chanting again and again. So it means that even if you're a very sinful person, if you chant the holy name and then continually chant the holy name, and if you can be fortunate enough to always chant the holy name, and this is more or less what happened with Ajamil. Because remember what it said in the text? Do you remember? Because when he had his kid and he named the child Narayana, because he was an old man, he was very attached. So there you go. There was the attachment and there was the name. Even if the name was meant to be somebody else, but the name is the name. The holy name of the Lord is supremely pure and it's never contaminated. We're contaminated, so we can't perceive it. But the holy name is always pure. Namachintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purnam Nitya Mukto. Purnam Nitya Mukto. Always liberated and always Purnam. Anyway, I can't remember the Sanskrit exactly. Minamino. If you chant in a way that you can actually remember that the holy name of Krishna is Krishna, even if you don't realize it fully, if you just chant in a way that you can remember that the holy name is Krishna, and you keep chanting, even if you're very sinful, and Ajamil was chanting, Narayana come here, Narayana do this, Narayana do that, Narayana where are you? For a long time, for I don't know, years, must have been, before he died. And then at the end, he became attached to that name. And then at the end, he chanted Narayana naturally, he chanted Narayana, because he was really attached to his son, who happened to be named Narayana. And do you remember what Prabhupada said in that one purport? Anybody remember? That's why when you get initiated, you get a name of Krishna. Because just by remembering your own name, you can go back to Godhead. Who's not attached to their own name? So Krishna, he's a supreme person. So he likes it when you chant his name. So just keep chanting his name. And that's the supreme religious principle in Kali Yuga. You don't have to worry as much about all the rituals and all the rules and regulations. We do them, we try the best we can. Not that we should neglect them prematurely when we're immature. We try to follow all the regulations, get up early, do Mangalarti, chant the holy name, etc., etc. But the main thing is attachment to the name. That's the main thing. Keep the main thing the main thing. And that's the Yuga Dharma. That is the Dharma, or the religious principle for the age, for becoming free from the influence of material nature and developing or awakening our love for Krishna. And if we're chanting and chanting and chanting and chanting and chanting for years and on end, and we don't feel anything, that means we're making offenses. That's all. That's what the Bhagavatam says. And therefore, you have to go inside, find out what those offenses are, or have someone you're close enough with that can, assess it, and in conversation, bring it out. Find out what the offenses are and stop making them. That's the science. But if you're not submissive, if you tend not to be submissive to authority in general, then it'll take you a long time. Because if you're completely submissive and you hear these things, as soon as you hear them, you just, lights go on, bells ring, and you like it. Too much like it. And if you like it too much, then you'll continue to do it. And the more you do it, the more you'll like it. And the more your hearts will become purified. Then we can feel attachment for Krishna. That's the goal. To feel attachment for Krishna. Genuine affection for Krishna. It's the sum total of all affection. And then you want to chant, and you want to hear, and you want to serve, and you want to give him everything on his birthday, and all these things that you want to do to loved ones. Yes, Bhakti Patrick.
Small question. Here, let's see what text it is. In text 16, it speaks about the other limbs not being able to see the eyes, and talking about how we won't be able to ever see Krishna with our senses in mind and endeavors through knowledge. So it seems as though trying to learn or do anything that's not sanctioned by the spiritual master is just kind of a waste of time in the endeavor to come closer to Krishna.
That's true.
Okay. That's how I've come into mind, and I've thought, sometimes,
true.
but maybe I should do this or do that.
But it's not a mechanical thing.
Yeah.
It's not that, there's strings attached, and the spiritual master's going like this,
Mm-hmm.
The modes of nature are doing that to us.
Yeah.
But that the awakening of that knowledge comes from within your heart, mm-hmm. through the supersoul. That's what it means.
Mm-hmm.
That just because the hand can't see the eye doesn't mean that the hand can't be guided, mm-hmm. by the eye. That's the meaning of that verse. Just because the hand can't see the eye doesn't mean that the hand cannot be guided by the eye. The hand is guided by the eye, even though the hand can't see the eye. So we are guided by the Supersoul, even though we can't see the Supersoul. We are always guided by the Supersoul. And to become conscious of being guided by the Supersoul through this hearing and chanting process, and through the adoption of devotional service according to the instructions. But that guidance comes in the very beginning, yes, go here, get up at this time, do this, do that. Yes. But then, as we advance, then we spontaneously want to think of ways we can improve, think of ways we can improve our service, think of ways we can please Krishna more and more and more, think of ways that we can spread Krishna consciousness more and more. And when your intelligence becomes activated like that, then even if you're doing the littlest thing in that consciousness, you are there. It doesn't mean you have to be some big Paramahansa sannyasi that's traveling all over the world and making tens of thousands of disciples, or you're just in a corner of a temple somewhere washing the floor, but you're washing the floor in such a way as anyone who comes in will like it too much and they won't want to leave because it's so clean here, and Krishna will be pleased. Talking about the insects, Prabhupada said, if a bee or an insect out of good fortune happens to be in the flower that you offer to Krishna, and you put the flower on the lotus feet of Krishna, and the bug comes out and goes, that's it. Who was it that was talking? Oh yeah, Marcella. She got a prairie dog. What was it? What did that call? And she think it didn't like him, and what this, and sometime after a while, came and went, and then. Anyway, I'm not saying that the prairie dog by kissing her is going to get, but if the insect, happens to touch the lotus feet of the deity, it becomes liberated. To accept these things and be overwhelmed with wonder, not overwhelmed with skepticism and doubt. Oh, come on, that's just a story. You're just saying that just to, make it seem like it's like, no, that's what's keeping you in the material world. Those kinds of doubts, that kind of mentality, that kind of thought. So the material conceptions have to be transformed into spiritual conceptions, and then you get it. Wait for the mic. Our techie is so busy talking, she's forgetting to,
Hare Krishna Maharaj. In verse text 20-21 has all name is like 12 Mahajanas, like Brahma, Narada, Shiva. So his I means it's a Yamaraja, right? And this for
that's
12
Yamaraja.
Maharaja.
And it doesn't mean, I heard somebody ask a question to Prabhupada, so that means you can there's only 12? And Prabhupada said, no, those 12 have persons underneath them who are following, and it's like it expands and expands and expands. And therefore in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the 9th chapter, you'll read that the Krishna consciousness movement is a branch of the Chaitanya tree, which is coming directly from Lord Chaitanya, but he's in the disciplic succession back to Brahma. So he's in one of the authorized disciplic successions. And even Lord Chaitanya had a spiritual master. Even Krishna, Sandipani Muni, took a spiritual master. Everyone needs a spiritual master, because that's the system. Okay, so from cyberspace we have some quick questions. 8 o'clock, what?
Vilas Manjari Dasi says, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Vilas Manjari.
Is it possible for us to chant the holy name continuously even though we have to work and do many other things in our day?
Yes.
Oh.
Learn the art of chanting in your mind, and learn the art of singing Hare Krishna whenever you're in a situation where you can. You're walking from one place to another. When you're doing something that doesn't require like your concentration to get it done properly, you can chant in your mind. Use up that spare time. You connect all the minutes. Just imagine all the minutes that are connected in between the things that you're doing that are like really essential. How much time do you have? Lots of time. You can increase the chanting of Hare Krishna, like lots. And then what? You won't get into your mind and think, yeah, but and then, go off into some never land, and disconnect yourself from everything else and everyone else.
One last thing.
One last thing from Vilas Manjari also.
Rati. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble
She's
obeisances.
the master asker.
She says, very fascinating comments which you are making just now about doing devotional service consciously and really being in the fire of devotional service. It seems very significant to me. Recently I have moments that I feel uncomfortable cutting vegetables into pieces while cooking. It occurred to me that I am actually cutting living entities' bodies into pieces, even though they are in plant bodies. That's why I can appreciate the importance of what you said. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and offering the preparations I make with love to Krishna can I actually benefit these souls. Otherwise, I am simply killing. If you have any comments on this, I would love to hear them.
You're not killing. When you're cutting a vegetable, the vegetable is taken off the plant or off the tree. Don't do that. Whenever you put your thing over here, you close the other eye. You never don't look at me with one eye. Don't look at anybody with one eye. It's like a curse. Whenever you itch your eye, you close the other eye. Don't ever cover the eye and then look at another person with one eye. Did you know that? No? You knew that? Yes.
What is that, the evil eye?
The evil eye. You got it.
Whoa.
That's where it came from. It's a Vedic standard, Vedic principle. The law of nature. It's more like it. Where was I?
About cutting vegetables.
Yes, you're not killing the apples coming off the tree, the living entity is the tree. The fruit is the tree. It's got the fruit of the tree. It's not a living entity exactly. I mean, there may be a worm inside that you're going to accidentally chop in two or something. That's why it's called bhoga. Before it's offered to Krishna, it's called bhoga. That which will be enjoyed by Krishna. You shouldn't think I'm cutting up the body of a living being, like cutting up, not the same thing. I mean, basically, whatever we offer to the deities is not done by killing. Sometimes Prabhupada would, when someone challenged him, would say, yes, we also have to kill, all these things. There may be some plants that die when you take it, but usually not. The grains, they grow the grains, it's green, and then they grow, they stay in the sun, and then they turn golden, and then they harvest. And what does it mean when they come golden? They've died. That's the nature, that's the law of nature. You take the milk from the cow. The milk is blood from the cow transformed into milk. That's why this whole vegan thing is bogus, because it won't cure the taste for meat. But you take nice milk preparations and cooked in ghee and and milk sweets, that will cure you from the taste of eating meat.
I think because here they give a lot of injection and torture the animals, and
Yeah, that's
why
true.
people don't want to drink milk.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's true. But we say, but what about the soul in the body of the cow? What are you doing for that? If I just refuse to drink the milk from the cow, I refuse to offer the milk to the cow before I drink it, then what about the soul in the body of the cow? If you take the milk from the body of the cow and then offer it to Krishna, even if the cow has not been treated properly, it gets purified by being offered to Krishna. And Krishna likes milk. So we shouldn't stop eating milk, drinking milk, just because there's something wrong with it, with what they're treating the cow. But on top of that, we should try our best to get non-violent milk to offer to Krishna. But if you can't, it's not that we shouldn't offer the milk to Krishna. Of course, that's my personal opinion. Hare Krishna. Others may have other opinions, and I don't want to get into a political dispute. But more or less that's what Prabhupada told us in the beginning. I mean, it was there. Even when Prabhupada was here, the argument came up. You know, I remember in San Francisco and Los Angeles in the early 70s, the point came up, and Prabhupada said, look, there's nothing in this material world anymore that's pure. I mean, there's so much meat being cooked everywhere that the atmosphere, the molecules are floating through the air, and you just breathe in, and you smell and breathe, and you take those things into your body. There's nothing that's completely pure. Otherwise, you'll just sit there and you won't do anything. You won't offer anything to Krishna because it's impure. Anyway, that's my thought for the day. And now I have to go because I have to get up real early again, and I'm on a roll. This will be my 6th day in a row starting tomorrow. Okay, we're on the 3rd chapter of the Madhya Lila, and we're coming to the end of the 3rd chapter of the Madhya Lila already. We're moving along. I'm hoping to get done with the Madhya Lila before I go on September 15th to India. That would be ahead of schedule. Okay, Yamaraj ki jai. The Yamadutas ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. Same place, same station tomorrow afternoon. See you then. Haribol. Hare Krishna.